and I am here with Jacquelyn Carmody. Is that how you say it? Carmody?
Carmody.
Carmody. Sorry. I should have asked you before we went live. Yeah. So hi, everybody. Today we are going to talk about a really cool organization called Brushes with Cancer. But before we dive into that, I want to tell you, just introduce Jacquelyn a little bit and talk about why she's here and what we're going to talk about. Jacquelyn is working with an organization called Brushes with Cancer, which is part of Twist Out Cancer. And I met them because they reached out to me because they connect artists with people who have had cancer or who are recovering from cancer, and help them create these really magical experiences. So I was super excited about what they do and decided that the Abundant Artist would get involved sponsoring them. So we're going to talk a little bit about that organization. But I want to introduce Jacquelyn, who is a painter and an art therapist based in Chicago. So Jacquelyn, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to just talk about the program and the organization as a whole, and then kind of how we're incorporating art therapy into our programming and different ways that artists can get involved with us and, show their artwork in some of the shows, as well as just kind of be part of the organization.
Nice. Okay. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, before we even get into Brushes with Cancer, for those who are watching who don't know what it is, what is an art therapist?
Yes. So an art therapist, we are trained, it's a master's degree in psychology, and usually there's a background that's needed in fine arts in order to understand how to use materials, how to help others understand the power of different materials and kind of the different qualities that they possess. So it's a combination of that master's degree. The program that I went through was Adler in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And so once from there, you can facilitate a therapy session by using art as a tool of communication to help the client, whether it's individual therapy, group therapy, family therapy. You can use the art as a tool of communication to help them express whatever it is that is needed. So you can use it with a variety of different populations. So in a typical session, I usually start off by assessing what comfort level the client has with using art materials. I'm not going to just all of a sudden be like, here, draw this picture. I'm going to kind of assess where their level of art making is, what their background is with art. And if they've never once, touched art supplies since kindergarten and they're like, I just do stick figures, that's okay. It's really just about having a place for them to put the emotion, put the trauma, or put their experience outside of themselves while we're in the session. So in the simplest form, it's just a form of psychotherapy and that uses self-expression as a way to communicate and heal.
Nice. And what kind of art do you make in your own personal art practice?
Yeah, so I was trained in 2D painting at Western Michigan. I would do a lot of oil painting, but I've kind of moved on to acrylic and watercolor and ink. So I'd say watercolor and ink is my favorite right now. And when I'm with my schedule and working a lot, it's what I can do in the smallest space and the shortest amount of time to kind of do my own form of self-care.
Totally. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to, oops, sorry, getting feedback here. Okay. I want to give a shout out to those who are watching live. Hi to Gwen, Rochelle, and everybody who's watching live over on Facebook. I know a few people are popped into Crowdcast as well. So hello to Jean, Phyllis, Laura, Meg. Glad to have you all here. If any of you do have questions for me or Jacquelyn as we're talking, please feel free to pop in a question. If we can answer it, we'll try. So Jacquelyn, how did you get involved with Brushes with Cancer? First of all, just give us like a brief, what does Brushes with Cancer do?
Yes, so Brushes with Cancer is actually an event within Twist Out Cancer. So Twist Out Cancer is the larger organization, it's the non-for-profit where they provide the programming, they provide the different events. We do events in different cities, whether it's like a spin class or, a meetup where we're talking and just kind of providing support to people who are involved. It's a way for people who have been touched by cancer, whether they are a survivor, they've lost a loved one, or they've been a caregiver, or currently are, going through treatment. They can find a space to connect with others and get the support that they need, like socially, through just connecting with others and finding a space for that. So we've been using Brushes with Cancer to show people how you can tell a story through the expressive arts, whether it's a painting, a sculpture, poetry, music, just pairing two strangers together to tell a story that can't really be put into words. So using the artwork to tell that story. So it's been really powerful. And I got involved in 2013. I was pretty new in the field of art therapy, and just found the website and noticed that they had an open call for artists, and checked it out. And I was like, wow, this fits perfectly with what I'm doing as an artist and an art therapist. And also having family and friends who have had cancer. That's something that really touched me and I wanted to be a part of and share my talent and skills with. So I just reached out to Jenna, had my first pairing with a girl named Stephanie, and ever since I've just been doing the shows each year, and actually did a show in Montreal this past spring 2018, which was really cool to go abroad and do.
Nice. That's fun.
Yeah.
So for those who I just realized I'm wearing my Make America Kind Again t-shirt. I wanted to show that off because Jacquelyn and I were talking before we went live about all the great places to eat in Portland. And there's an awesome restaurant in Portland called Laughing Planet, and they do a lot of vegetarian and vegan food. I'm not vegetarian or vegan, but they do that. And they have these awesome message t-shirts, Make America Kind Again, and some other stuff. So people were asking what does the t-shirt say? So that's why I wanted to share that. Cool. So you did this show, and you're sitting with people and making art with them as they're recovering from cancer or whatever. Can you maybe give an idea, like if I'm an artist who this sounds interesting, but what would I actually be doing once I sign up?
So you first sign up. There's an application process where you can do it through our website. So we post it on different social media places like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Will kind of reach out to different artists, and word of mouth as well. So they'll complete the application. We also are looking into, have they shown work before? Have they ever done, like a show where they're giving their art away for a donation? And also kind of figuring out why they want to be part of this particular organization and seeing if they're a good fit first, because they will be making a connection with their inspiration. So the inspiration is the person who's either gone through treatment themselves, is a survivor, a caretaker, or a loved one of someone who's had cancer. And they will be expected to make a few connections with that person over a series of time in order for their story to be portrayed and told accurately. And we hope that they will make a bond and a connection that, they'll want to keep meeting up, whether it's via Skype or in person, because they feel like they can share that common ground and that connection that's pretty awesome, because it's not a connection that's shared in everyday life. You're telling the most vulnerable pieces of your life to a complete stranger, and then they are going to portray that through an art piece. So it's really exciting to see the different relationships that are formed, and just knowing I formed with each participant has been amazing, and I'm just honored to get to know each one of them and have them share that with me.
Yeah, that's neat. I've done a portrait process before where an artist did a portrait of me, and like that, the artists who take time to delve in and get to know their people a little bit, it does feel really vulnerable from the subject side, and to share that information. But it's neat to see what comes out of that, what the artist perceives, and
Definitely. And a lot of artists, because I will be a point person for artists sometimes if they have questions about the process, or they're really not sure, they feel stuck on what to create. And it's really about creating what you felt from that person's story and allowing the art to kind of take form that way. It's really, when you overthink it, that's when things get complicated. It's really just what energy did the connection that you guys make have, and what stuck out about their story that you can create a powerful piece with.
Nice. So I think that answers Phyllis's question in the chat. So thank you. Thanks, Phyllis. Lynn Trombley over on Facebook says, I love this concept. This resonates so well with the work I'm pursuing currently, with advocating for a variety of different social, environmental, and personal issues through my artwork. So yeah, I think obviously there's going to be a lot of artists who think that this is a pretty cool thing to do. So I noticed over on Facebook that a bunch of people have already shared this. So if you know somebody who has been affected by cancer, or you know an artist who this might be a good fit for, do please feel free to share this video with them. So Jacquelyn, if an artist wanted to participate in Brushes with Cancer or with Twist Out Cancer, what should they do?
They should definitely check out our website. So if you go to twistoutcancer.org, then you just click the enter button on our website. You can go down to our menu, and Brushes with Cancer has its own little tab in the corner. You can read a little bit about it and the different cities that we will be in. So we're in Chicago in November. November 3rd, 2018, and then we are going to a few other cities. Let me just pull up what those are. So we're going to be in Ann Arbor in 2019, Toronto, and Philadelphia. And then our Chicago show is actually sold out this year, which is awesome. So we're excited for that coming up. So to be the artist, just go down to the Brushes with Cancer link, read a little bit more.
I just posted a link directly to the right page in the chat.
Awesome. And there should be a spot to apply. I think once we post the information about the upcoming cities, there should be a link to apply. But the Chicago one, we've already made the matches with the artists and the inspirations. So the next year one, we will announce when the application process will be posted. And we should be doing that with each new city also, but those aren't until 2019.
Cool. So Ann Daly says, is this open to artists abroad? It sounds like the artist needs to be based in whichever city the inspiration is living.
So we've actually had pairs where they're cross country. As long as the artist and the inspiration can commit to, connecting with one another on Skype and having consistent communication. And they really both follow through with that bond. We've had, international artists and artists cross country working with inspiration. So
the artist just needs to be able to ship the work to the show whenever the show happens. Right. Okay. Exactly.
Yep. And just follow the deadlines that we have, which we make it really easy. We communicate with our inspirations and our artists through a mentor. So each pair has a mentor that will check in with them pretty frequently throughout the process, just to make sure that they are connecting, the connections are going well. If there's any emotional aspects that the artist or the inspiration feels like they can't handle, the mentor can kind of jump in and direct them. So there's a lot of support provided through the board and through the mentors throughout the entire process.
Nice. Excellent. Well, is there anything else that we should talk about? Anything that we might not have covered that you think people need to know?
So we are doing an art therapy event actually this upcoming week. So with future programming, we're excited to get some more art therapy involved with just providing that as another aspect to the programming of allowing people to engage in that process and kind of get together, because, all these connections are happening very individually, and it's great to get all of the participants together throughout it. And so they don't feel like they're just going through their own pair until the big show and then they meet everyone. We like to provide some opportunities for them to connect and network together in between.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about Twist Out Cancer. And I think a lot of people are affected by cancer. And I think a lot of the people in our audience are going to be excited. A lot of the artists will be excited to work on something like this with you. So Thanks again. And if again, over on Facebook or elsewhere, if you're watching this video, please feel free to let us know if you have any questions, and head on over to twistoutcancer.org and look for the Brushes with Cancer tab in the menu to participate.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
You bet. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.